This morning we're going to carry on looking at the Sabbath and why it's so important to rest for one day each week. Now, resting on the Sabbath, keeping it holy, was the fourth commandment that God gave us, but quite often it's one that we forget easily because we're so busy all the time. We've already thought about creation and how God rested on the seventh day. We've also thought about what should we do on the Sabbath, and we should be spending time with God, with our family, and enjoying all the wonderful things that God has given us. Today, we've just heard a reading about the vine and the branches. And this is a story that Jesus told. It's a parable, so that means it's a story with a special message. But I was wondering, how many of us have actually seen a vine in real life? Now, vineyards existed all over the place where Jesus grew up, but we don't tend to have many in this country. Let's have a look at a picture to help us understand what Jesus was saying. Here's a picture of a vine, and can you see the fruit growing on it? There's lots of juicy grapes. Now, you can see the big vine trunk in the middle of the picture, and then there are little branches that come off the sides, and that is where the fruit grows. So this is what Jesus was talking about in his story. He said that he was the vine, so he's like the big trunk in the middle that's holding everything together. And we are the branches. We are all these little bits that come off Jesus. We are the parts that grow the fruit. Now, can you imagine what it would be like if one of those branches wasn't attached to the big trunk of the vine? What would that look like? Here's a branch that is no longer attached to a trunk. Can you see? It can't possibly grow anything anymore. It's not very useful anymore either, unless you want to play fetch with it. So when Jesus was saying that as long as you stay attached to the vine, you'll bear fruit. This is what he was talking about. If you're not attached to the vine, if you're not with him, then there's no way you can make any fruit. You just become a bit like a dead twig. Not good. So how exactly do we stay attached to the vine, which is Jesus? Well, this is where the Sabbath rest comes in. Jesus promised that if we remain in him, he'll remain in us. We'll be attached to the true vine, which is Jesus. We'll be one of those beautiful looking branches that bears fruit instead of the withered, tired old branch. And we stay with Jesus by doing all the things that Sabbath rest is about. So one day a week, we rest from our work and we spend time with God and with others. We can talk to Jesus through prayer. We can spend time enjoying all the wonderful things that Jesus has given to us. And we can spend time with other people, showing them Jesus' love. If we do those things, then we will be one of those branches, the beautiful branches that had all of those lovely fruit growing from them. If we don't have a Sabbath rest, if we don't take time out to spend time with God, then we're going to end up worn out and tired and sorry looking, like that branch that had come off the vine, which is no use to anyone. So, Jesus is there to help us when we're resting, help us when we're working, as long as we try and stay close to him. That's the message that Jesus wants to share with us this morning.